law, Senator Natasha to face disciplinary panel over outburst. Tinubu commiserates with Idris on mother-in-law's death. Nigeria's GDP grew by 3.84% in fourth quarter of 2024. Egypt rejects proposals to displace Palestinians. Galatasaray accused Mourinho of racist statements. Court clears Naira Marley of Mohbad's death. Welcome back. And now on to the rest of our stories. Chairman of the Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Tony Okocha, has dismissed insinuations from some quarters that the 27 embattled lawmakers of the State House of Assembly defected from the People's Democratic Party to his party. Okocha said he never received the former lawmakers into the APC, saying that what happened at the Port Harcourt Polo Club in December 2023 was not a reception for the 27 lawmakers, but an event to celebrate the constitution of the State Executive Council of the APC by the national body of the party. Addressing journalists at the APC Secretariat in Port Harcourt on Tuesday, Okocha corrected the impression that he invited the lawmakers individually as friends for the 2023 event and not as assembly members. He accused the River State Governor Simina Lai Fubara of infracting the rule of law at all times. He added that there is no way a high court can sit in judgment over a superior court of appeal. Okocha accused the governor of exhibiting dictatorial tendencies by his refusal to obey the court judgment which authorized him to represent the 2024 budget before the Right Honorable Martin Amehule led the House of Assembly, noting that it is a pity that senior lawmakers in this country will now come out to misinterpret the court judgment. Rivers State Police Command has announced the arrest of a suspect involved in an ATM debit card swapping syndicate. The suspect, 35-year-old Blessing Daberechu Oleru, was arrested on February 5, 2025 after a coordinated intelligence operation. According to the police report, the suspect swaps the victim's debit card at a bank in Port Harcourt, leading to unauthorized withdrawals totaling 523,600 naira. The victim had reported the incident on November 26, 2024 after receiving debit alert. During interrogation, Olero confessed to the crime and a money point POS machine was recovered from her possession. The police are still investigating and working to apprehend other members of the syndicate. This arrest demonstrates the Rivers State Police Command's commitment to combating financial crimes and protecting citizens' interests. Body of a 200-level chemical engineering student of the Federal University Otueke who drowned in Ekoli Creek, Yenegua, after allegedly attempting to swim across for a 300 naira bet has been recovered. The student's remains were retrieved from the river on Monday evening, nearly 24 hours after he went missing. Witnesses said he had jumped into the water but failed to resurface. Grief-stricken students of the university held a candlelight procession in his honor on Monday night. Confirming the incident on Tuesday, the spokesperson for the Bayelsa State Police Command, Musa Mohammed, said investigations were ongoing to determine the circumstances surrounding the death. Sources allege that the student had wagered he could swim across the creek, but midway through he submerged and did not reappear. Cross River State government has confirmed an outbreak of Lassa fever in Obubra local government area, following the death of a 30-year-old male farmer from Onincha community, I beg your pardon. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Henry Egbe Ayok, announced the outbreak in a public statement revealing that the deceased succumbed to the disease on February 17 at the Federal University Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. According to the report, the victim had sought medical attention at FUTHA on February 15 after experiencing symptoms for several days. Dr. Ayuk disclosed that the state and local government area rapid response teams have been deployed to Unincha, working in close collaboration with the State Primary Health Care Development Agency and the World Health Organization to contain the spread. Also, town hall meetings have been initiated with community leaders, decontamination of affected homes, ample collection for testing, referral of symptomatic persons to designated health facilities, as well as distribution of Lassa fever and cholera medications, consumables and other emergency medical supplies in high-risk local government areas, he hinted. Dr. Ayuk reassured residents that the state government, under the leadership of Governor Basi Otu, was taking all necessary steps to control the outbreak and prevent further spread of infectious diseases. He, however, urged the public to remain vigilant against Lassa fever, cholera, mpox, and other epidemic-prone illnesses, particularly as the early rains approach. National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress has dismissed reports suggesting it approved the inauguration of a leadership council in its Delta State chapter. In a statement issued on Tuesday in Abuja, the party's National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, clarified that the NWC had not granted such approval. Moka further emphasized that the purported leadership council has no constitutional backing within the party's structure. The statement reaffirmed the NWC's commitment to upholding the party's constitution and ensuring that only legitimate structures operate within the APC framework. Edo chapter of the PDP has condemned the attack on the people of Okwebe community in Etako East local government by gunmen, leading to the gruesome murder of 2 farmers. In a statement by Chris Nehikare, Publicity Secretary of the Edo PDP Caretaker Committee, the party expressed disappointment over the killing of Batemwe Philip Ebo and Christopher Bello. ATN reports that Ebo and Bello were attacked and killed on their way to their farms. The party urged the governor, Monday Okpebelo, to take urgent and decisive steps to check the situation before it degenerates. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebelo on Tuesday condemned the recent attacks in the state, which he said have claimed 24 lives. The first clash, which was said to have claimed 22 lives, as against the 7 reported by the Edo State Police Command, was between cocoa farmers and some alleged produce thieves in the agrarian community of Belo Motin in Ovia Southwest local government area of Edo State. The clash started last Thursday night and escalated on Friday morning as those believed to be sympathetic to those killed in Thursday night fight mobilized and launched a counter-attack on Friday morning, which led to more killings. In the second incident, 2 residents of the Okwebe community in Esakol East local government area of the state, Batemwe Philip Ebo and Christopher Bello, were reportedly killed on Monday by suspected herders. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Ithua, the Governor said the government of the state will not tolerate any form of violence and promised to bring perpetrators of the dastardly act to book. Meanwhile, Okwebelo has ordered the deployment of additional security personnel to the affected areas and the provision of support to the affected communities. Leadership of the Lagos State House of Assembly has called for the immediate release of 3 of its staff members who were arrested by the Department of State Services and are still in custody. Staff members were reportedly detained last Friday for questioning regarding an incident from the previous Monday, during which DSS operatives stormed the assembly, claiming they were acting on an invitation. Chairman of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria Lagos State Chapter, Babatunde Ogunlana, made a public appeal for the action. Speaking to the media and fellow assembly members, Ogunlana urged Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Director General of DSS, and the Nigerian Labour Congress, along with other relevant authorities, to step in and ensure the swift release of the detained staff. Ogunlana expressed the union's strong resolve, declaring no retreat, no surrender in their demand for justice. The situation has sparked calls for immediate intervention from key state and national bodies to address the matter. Ikeja sexual offences and domestic violence court on Tuesday sentenced a herbalist, Shegun Shina, to 14 years imprisonment for attempted sexual assault on a 10-year-old girl who suffered epilepsy. Justice Rahman Oshodi sentenced Shina after he pleaded guilty to an amended 1-count charge of attempted sexual assault. AT reports that Shina had in a plea bargain agreement changed his plea of not guilty to guilty. Oshodi therefore held that the evidence before the court and the voluntary plea proved that Shina committed the offense. Oshodi thereafter convicted him as charged. The judge held that he was satisfied that the convict duly understood the nature of the plea bargain agreement and that his counsel had explained it to him. Oshodi ordered that the sentence should commence from November 16, 2018, the day Shina was arrested. The court also ordered the family of the convict to ensure his rehabilitation upon release. Recalls that Shina was initially arraigned on the charge of defilement on April 4, 2021 by the Lagos State government. He pleaded not guilty to the charge, and the State Counsel, Ms. Bukola Okiowa, called 2 witnesses, the survivor's mother and an investigative police officer, through whom compelling evidence and exhibits were tendered as evidence. 52 persons have been arraigned before an Ekiti State Magistrates Court, Ado Ekiti District, for alleged violations of the environmental, health and sanitation laws of the state. A statement by the State Ministry of Environment and National Resources made available in Ado Ekiti on Tuesday said the suspects were charged to court for allegedly violating the environmental, health and sanitation laws of Ekiti State during Saturday's environmental sanitation exercise. It added that the magistrate Olubumi Mabamidele sentenced 37 of the suspects to 1 month imprisonment each, having found them guilty of the allegations preferred against them. According to the statement, the Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Tosin Aluko Ajisafe, speaking in Ado Ekiti earlier while monitoring the environmental sanitation exercise, urged residents to maintain a high level of hygiene to rid the state of communicable diseases. Aluko Ajisafe, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the state, Mr. Tunde Balogun, during the exercise, reiterated environmental sanitation is a collective responsibility. She reaffirmed the government's commitments to ensuring a hygienic and sustainable environment. Aluko Ajisafe urged community leaders and stakeholders to intensify awareness campaigns on the importance of sanitation, stressing that enforcing sanitation laws is a proactive measure to prevent disease outbreaks caused by poor hygiene. Kogi State government has called on citizens to actively protect public infrastructure in their communities to sustain the state's rapid development. Speaking on Tuesday in Lokoja, the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo, emphasized that the real owners of public infrastructure are the people, and it is incumbent upon you to protect them. Fanwo highlighted the significant progress achieved over the past years under the leadership of His Excellency Alhaji Usman Ododo. The Commissioner also highlighted the administration's commitments to rural development through extensive projects led by the Kogi State Community and Social Development Agency. He further urged citizens to report any instances of vandalism, through the Ministry of Information and Communications, which will escalate such cases to the Office of the State Security Advisor. This call to action underscores that Kogi State's development is a shared responsibility. By protecting public infrastructure, citizens ensure that the fruits of progress are continuing to benefit all, paving the way for a brighter future for the state. Benue State government has announced an outbreak of Lassa fever following a concerning rise in cases over the past 4 years. Speaking at a press conference in Makurdi, the Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Nyama Otese, revealed that the state had recorded 40 suspected cases this year alone, with 5 confirmed infections and 3 deaths. This translates to a 60% case fatality rate, according to Dr. Otese. Lassa fever remains a severe viral disease primarily spread through contact with infected rodents or disease, which include high fever, headache, sore throat, muscle pain, chest pain, nausea, vomiting, and severe cases. Unexplained bleeding. To curb infections, the state government has launched rodent control initiatives, including community cleanup campaigns and environmental sanitation drives. He also raised concerns about the increasing rate of snake bites in the state, citing that 199 cases had been recorded at General Hospital Bajimga in Guma local government area between July and December 2024. Kebbi State Governor Nasser Idris has commended the federal government's efforts in constructing and completing the Human Rights Commission offices in some states of the Federation. He said these are the commissioning of the Kebbi State Office of the NHRC in Benin, Kebbi. Idris said the event reflected the federal government's commitment under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu to improve cooperation and coordination in the planning and implementation of human rights across the country. Idris, represented by the Secretary of the State Government, Alhaji Yakubu Bala Tafida, said, "We wish to commend the federal government, particularly the Minister of Justice, the Chairperson, and the Executive Secretary of the NHRC for working harmoniously to provide a befitting office for the Commission." In his speech, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi San, said the federal government under Tinubu was not interfering with the independence of the Human Rights Commission. Fagbemi noted that the commissioning of the Kebbi office of NHRC would further entrench the operational independence of the Commission. The minister also said it was a bold statement by the federal government towards the support to the Commission and to protect the rights of Nigerians. President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday sent condolences to the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Muhammad Idris, on the death of his mother-in-law, Hajia Hawa Usman, who died at 70. The president conveyed his condolences to the Idris' family, their in-laws, and all relatives, urging them to find strength and comfort during this difficult time. Mr. Bayo Onanuga, his spokesman, said in a statement. Tinubu further prayed for the repose of Hajia Hawa's soul, saying, "May Almighty Allah forgive her shortcomings, grant her eternal rest, and admit her to Al-Jannah Firdaus." The president expressed his support for the minister and his family during the mourning period. Senator Natasha Akpoti Oduagan, who represents the Kogi Central Senator, will now face Senate disciplinary panel over her seat reallocation outburst in the Red Chamber. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced this on the floor of the Senate on Tuesday, saying a motion to that regard has referred the matter to its Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions Committee. 18 recalls that the controversy began when Akpoti Uduagan's seat was reassigned within the Senate chamber without her consent. The Kogi senator was moved from her original position in the minority section to the last role, a change she resisted. Her refusal to comply with the arrangement was deemed a violation of Senate rules. However, Akpabio said Akpoti Uduagan will now face disciplinary panel, which will then refer back to the chamber after investigation. Senator Natasha Akpoti Oduagan has filed a lawsuit against the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for alleged defamation. A10 reports that Akpoti Uduaghan raised concerns after her Senate seat was reassigned following a reshuffle triggered by opposition members switching to the majority wing. She resisted the relocation, leading to a confrontation between her and the Senate president. However, in a suit filed before the Federal Capital Territory High Court on 25th February 2025, the President of the Senate, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the senior legislative aide to the Senate President, Mfon Patrick, were listed as the second and third defendants. In the suit, Akpoti Uduaghan, through her lawyer Victor Giwa, alleged that defamatory statements were made by the Senate President and published by his aide on Facebook. Giwa argued that the statement was defamatory, provocative, and lowering his client's dignity in the eyes of her colleagues and the public. She also urged the courts to restrain the defendants and their associates from making further defamatory statements against her on any platform. Furthermore, Akpoti Uduaghan asked the courts to order the defendants to pay her 100 billion naira in general damage and 300 million naira as litigation cost. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, has assured that the Senate would produce legislation from the tax reform bills aimed at making Nigeria's economy a $1 trillion base. He added that President Bola Tinubu had asked the National Assembly with the National Assembly with this goal, and that the legislature was committed to creating a tax law acceptable across the country. Musa made the statement while speaking with journalists in Abuja on Tuesday. He emphasized that following the recently concluded public hearing on the tax reform bills, the committee would consider all stakeholders' input on their merits. He stressed that the focus was on creating a law acceptable to all. He noted that the president had envisioned a $1 trillion economy for Nigeria, reflecting the direction of the reform. In related comments, Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central supported the bills, describing them as essential for Nigeria's development and dispelling claims of regional opposition. He noted that this tax reform has embraced a Nigerian dimension, not a north-south dichotomy. Senate President Godswill Akpabio yesterday came under fire from the Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and Nigeria Employers Consultative Association over his comments that only 13% of Nigerians pay tax but want more from the government. Akpabio, who made the statement while declaring open a two-day public hearing on the controversial tax reform bills organized by the Senate in Abuja yesterday, also described tax reforms as the future of Nigeria, which must be gotten right. But the NLC, TUC, and NECA, in swift reactions, said Nigerians evade taxes where the government remains unaccountable to the people. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu, according to the chairman, Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, at the public hearing, asked the Senate to give him workable laws from the bills he sent to the upper chamber on October 3, 2024. This is even as stakeholders in the polity, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission, National Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, Arewa Think Tank, and retired permanent secretaries threw their weight behind the bills. Recall that the tax reform bills, which are the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill 2024, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill 2024, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill 2024 were passed for second reading in the Senate on November 28, 2024, and forwarded to the Committee on Finance for more legislative inputs through yesterday's public hearing. Nigerian Army has dismissed claims circulating on social media alleging that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyode, has introduced a landmark policy to automatically promote officers who have served beyond the required number of years on a rank. The Army clarified that it remains committed to established promotion protocols that ensure fairness, professionalism, and operational effectiveness across the service. Addressing the issue, the Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, described the reports as false and misleading. The Army emphasized that promotion is a structured, merit-based process governed by clear statutory regulations rather than arbitrary social media claims. The Army stressed that it adheres to uniform promotion standards across the armed forces of Nigeria and will not compromise these principles. The Army called on the public to dismiss this deceptive publication, emphasizing that it lacks credibility. The Army reassured its personnel that all promotions will continue to follow the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in line with its mission to maintain a disciplined and effective force. Special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on information and strategy, former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo's claim that former military President Ibrahim Babangida he recalled how Tinubu, then a senator, resisted the military's dissolution of the Senate following the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. In a light-hearted comment, he noted that Tinubu, who was then tormented by the military, including Babangida, was now present to celebrate one of his former adversaries. However, speaking in a television program on Tuesday, Onanuga countered the claim, insisting that Babangida was, in fact, a major influence on Tinubu's political journey. He explained that Babangida's call for new breed politicians in the late 1980s and early 1990s attracted several technocrats and private sector professionals, including Tinubu, into politics. The presidential aide clarified that Tinubu's re-challenge began under General Sani Abacha, when he and some lawmakers attempted to reconvene the Senate in Lagos. The presidential aide also commended Babangida's recent admission that Chief MKO Abiola won the 1993 presidential election, but noted that such acknowledgements came too late. European Commission on Monday received requests from Nigeria and 23 other non-members of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development countries seeking inclusion in the list of nations eligible to import non-hazardous waste from the European Union. Non-hazardous waste, which accounts for 95.6% of solid waste produced in Europe, includes municipal waste such as packaging, clothing, bottles, and plastics, as well as demolition materials like concrete, bricks, stones, and food waste. In a statement issued, the request was made in line with the new waste shipment regulation introduced as part of the EU's Green Deal and Circular Economic Action Plan. The regulation aims to establish stricter rules for the shipment of waste, including imports and exports between the EU and non-OECD countries. One key measure is a full ban on the export of plastic waste from the EU by November 2026. Countries applying for eligibility to import non-hazardous waste must demonstrate the ability to manage these materials in an environmentally sound manner with conditions that meet or exceed those of the EU. The European Commission requires detailed information from the applicants to assess their readiness for this responsibility. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has said the registration period for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, which began on February 3, will conclude on March 8, 2025. JAMB ruled out an extension of the registration period, saying that the deadline has been communicated in all advertisements and the official calendar for the 2025 UTME exercise. It noted that the board's calendar is fixed, with numerous subsequent programs scheduled after registration, including examinations, result management, and admissions exercise, adding that these timelines are coordinated with other agencies whose operations rely on the completion of our processes. This came as it disclosed that over 1.5 million candidates have successfully registered. It emphasized in a statement on Tuesday through its spokesperson, Fabian Benjamin. Federal High Court in Abuja has restrained the Nigerian police force from tendering a DNA test result against Mr. Kabiru Turaki, former Special Duties and Intergovernment Affairs Minister. Turaki is involved in a paternity dispute with a lady, Hadiza Bafa. Justice Iyang Ekwo gave the order after M.L. Anthony, counsel for the MPF, Inspector General of Police, and DCP Rita Oki Oyintari, who are first to third respondents, respectively sought an adjournment to enable them to comply with the earlier court order. Turaki, through his lawyer, Abdulaziz Ibrahim San, had told Justice Ekwo that the police were planning to present the purported DNA test paternity results procured in violation of his fundamental human rights in a criminal charge filed against him before an FCT Magistrate Court, Abuja. The judge therefore ordered Turaki to put all the respondents in the application on notice within 2 days of the order and directed the respondents to show cause in the next adjourned date, while the prayers sought by the ex-minister should not be granted. The matter was called. Ibrahim, who appeared for Turaki, informed the court that the matter was for the respondent to show cause why his client's prayers should not be granted. The senior lawyer, however, told the court that the first to third respondent had refused to comply with the court order to file affidavits to show cause. Justice Eckwood then asked Anthony what process he had filed, and he responded that they filed a counter affidavit to the applicant's motion. The judge frowned at his response, and Anthony therefore sought an adjournment to enable them to do the needful. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we head straight to the rest of our stories. Do stay tuned.
How far, Niger? Welcome to the Glow Cafe app. Come in. Because it's time for an upgrade. Your own personal Glow Cafe app open 24/7. Welcome to bigger, better, smarter. Welcome to total control of your data, your airtime. Mom, I'll call you back. How you buy? I'll send you data. How you share and how you recharge. Movies, gaming, music, all in one place. Welcome to More Valley. Download the upgraded Glow Cafe app and get more data. Get 100% recharge bonus and get a massive 100 gigabytes data bonus when you register. Want it all? Download all this into this.
Glow Unlimited.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. As the Muslim community prepares for the holy month of Ramadan, the Jama'atu Nasrul Islam has emphasized the need for unity and integrity among Islamic scholars. The President General JNI Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Said Abubakar, appeared at the annual pre-Ramadan meeting in Kaduna. The meeting had at its theme social media and Islamic scholarship. Causes of conflict among Muslim scholars. The Sultan said they must unite as Muslims under one umbrella. He, however, urged that Muslims must speak and work for Islam, saying this is imperative in this part of the world. According to him, nobody has a monopoly on knowledge, adding, whatever you think or you know, somebody knows better than you. The Sultan said that by adhering to proper guidelines and ethics, the scholars can promote a positive and uplifting Ramadan experience for all. Earlier in his address, Professor Khalid Aliyu, the Secretary General of GNI, highlighted the importance of responsible scholarship and the need for scholars to adhere to proper guidelines and ethics. Aliyu emphasized that Muslim scholars can have a critical role to play in promoting unity and understanding within the Muslim community. And now on to business news. Federal government said the introduction of the sale of crude oil in Naira was a strategic move to enhance the operational efficiency of local refineries by reducing foreign exchange risk and transaction costs. President Bola Tinubu made this known on Tuesday while officially declaring the 8th edition of the Nigeria International Energy Summit open in Abuja. The 2025 summit has as its theme bridging continents, connecting investors worldwide with Africa's energy potential. Represented by the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, Tinubu said the move had also fostered a strong and more stable domestic market. He added that in 2025, the country had continued witnessing a renaissance in the oil and gas sector, characterized by transformative initiatives and significant milestones. He said for close to 2 years, his administration had remained resolute in driving reforms and milestones in Nigeria's energy sector and the economy at large. He said these reforms, including the removal of the fuel subsidy and forex liberalization, which were two main reforms of the administration, in the first year had liberalized the economy, making it an investment destination of choice. Federal government has directed the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission to sanction all revenue-generating agencies that fail to comply with collection and remittance laws. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, issued the directive on Tuesday in Abuja during the inaugural plenary session following the swearing-in of newly appointed RMAFC commissioners. Akume emphasized that the commission must enhance non-oil revenue mobilization and prioritize revenue generation from solid minerals, taxation, and other non-oil sectors to reduce dependence on crude oil. The SGF underscored the need for collaboration with key stakeholders, including the National Assembly, to ensure a harmonized approach to revenue administration. He highlighted recent fiscal reforms such as the removal of fuel subsidies, exchange rates unification, and ongoing tax reforms, noting that these policies could only succeed if the RMAFC fully committed to their implementation. Akume described the occasion as a significant step towards fostering fiscal sustainability, revenue collection, and remittance efficiency, aligning with the renewed hope agenda of the administration. The chairman of RMAFC, Dr. Mohammed Shehu, reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to fostering intergovernment agent collaboration and ensure alignment with government policies. Shehu noted that the Commission played a crucial role in ensuring the fair and transparent allocation of revenue among the three tiers. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has summoned Multi-Choice Nigeria, the operator of DSTV and GoTV, to explain its planned subscription price increase set to take effect on March 1st, 2025. In a statement on Tuesday, FCCPC's Director of Corporate Affairs, Ondaje Ijagu, said the regulator had ordered Multi-Choice's Chief Executive Officer to appear at its headquarters on February 27 for an investigative hearing. The summons comes after the pay TV announced on Monday a 21% increase in the subscription fee for its DSTV compact package, raising the price from 15,700 naira to 19,000 naira, among other adjustments in price. The announcement triggered widespread criticism from subscribers, many of whom took to social media to express frustration over frequent price hikes. The consumer watchdog, in its statement, expressed concerns over the recurring unilateral price increases, warning that such actions raise serious questions about fairness, market practices. The regulator warned that failure to provide a satisfactory explanation or any violation of fair market principles could result in penalties, sanctions, or other corrective measures. The FCCPC also confirmed that it is engaging the sector regulator and other relevant agencies to ensure fair competition and stronger consumer protection in Nigeria's pay TV industry. Nigerian National Petroleum Shipping Company, Stena Bulk and Caverton Marine Limited on Tuesday announced the signing of a new joint venture that will transform Nigerian maritime transportation. The Chief Corporation Communications Officer, NNPCL, Olufemi Soneye, in a statement stated that the agreement signed in London last week aims to create a new tanker operation serving Nigeria and West Africa's crude oil, refined products, and LNG regional and global shipping requirements. According to the statement, the joint venture partners will create a new company whose objective is to provide top quality, reliable, and efficient maritime transport. A modern and efficient fleet of tankers comprising both new and existing tonnage depending on market factors and commercial opportunities in the region. The partners will evaluate opportunities for both vessel acquisitions and long-term charter arrangements with a focus on maintaining competitive operating costs while meeting the highest standards of safety and sustainability. Following the earlier announcement of the suspension of the 4% free on-board charge on imports, the Nigerian Customs Service has said that all import declarations made during the initial implementation period have been cancelled. The National Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Maiwada, had disclosed this in a statement. While Maiwada explained that the measure is necessary to ensure clarity, maintain consistency in customs operations, and prevent any disruptions in clearance processes. He said the affected importers, customs agents, and stakeholders are required to recapture their declarations to proceed with the clearance of their goods. He urged all affected stakeholders to promptly designated customs processing platforms. According to him, the NCS has put measures in place to ensure this process is seamless. Maiwada emphasized that the service remains steadfast in its commitment to implementing government's fiscal policies in alignment with the provisions of the Nigerian Customs Service Act 2023 through robust consultation and dialogue with all stakeholders. He said the decision to cancel previous declarations and give room for recapturing is part of the service's broader efforts to be a public-centric organization that ensures efficient service delivery. Nigeria's gross domestic product grew by 3.84% in real terms in the fourth quarter of 2024, reflecting an improvement from the 3.46% recorded in the same period of 2023. This also marked a slight increase from the previous quarter, which recorded an identical 3.46% growth rate. The latest GDP data released by the National Bureau of Statistics attributes the expansion to stronger performance in the services sector, which recorded a 5.37% growth rate and accounted for 57.38% of the country's total GDP. ATL lands and the figures released for the GDP are not based on a rebased methodology. Despite the overall economic growth, the agricultural sector recorded a slower expansion of 1.76%, down from 2.10% in the corresponding quarter of 2023. The industry sector also experienced a downturn, growing by 2.00%, lower than 3.86% posted in the previous year. However, on an annual basis, the oil sector reported a positive growth rate of 5.54%, contrasting with the 2.22% contraction recorded in 2023. The non-oil sector, which continues to be the major driver of economic growth, expanded by 3.96% in fourth quarter of 2024, outperforming the 3.07% recorded in the same quarter of 2023 and the 3.37% growth seen in the previous year. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. Egypt has firmly rejected proposals to forcibly displace the Palestinian people, arguing that such plans will liquidate the Palestinian cause and pose a threat to regional national security. The Egyptian presidency issued a statement on Tuesday condemning U.S. President Donald Trump's controversial plan, which calls for permanently displacing more than 2 million Palestinians from Gaza, asserting U.S. control over the territory and transforming it into an international beach resort. In response, Egypt will host an emergency Arab League summit on March 4, focusing on countering Trump's proposal and rejecting calls for Egypt and Jordan to resettle displaced Palestinians. Both nations have cited serious national security concerns over any forced resettlement initiatives. Earlier this week, Arab leaders from Gulf states, Egypt and Jordan met in Riyadh to discuss these issues. Sources familiar with the meeting said the discussion centered on an Egyptian proposal that could potentially involve up to $20 billion in funding over 3 years from Gulf and Arab states, although no official confirmation has been provided. The proposal has sparked deep fears among Palestinians who worry it could echo the Nakba, the catastrophic displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians during the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. With regional tensions high, the upcoming summit aims to solidify a unified Arab response to safeguard Palestinian rights and regional stability. The United States has released its list of eligible countries for the 2025 Visa Waiver Program, notably excluding all African nations and United Kingdom. While the UK remains eligible under specific conditions, countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa are not included in the Visa-Free Travel Initiative. The 2025 VWP welcomes Romania as a new participant, but otherwise largely maintains the existing list of eligible countries. The US has emphasized enhanced security checks and prioritized nations demonstrating strong diplomatic ties and robust border security standards in its selection process. The Visa Waiver Program allows citizens of participating countries to travel to the country to the US for tourism or business stays of up to 90 days without a visa, according to the US Bureau of Consular Affairs website. Travelers must obtain a valid electronic system for travel authorization approval before their trip and fulfill all other requirements. Those who prefer a visa in their passport can still apply for a visitor visa. The 2025 program includes policy updates and on eligibility, revisions to the list of participating countries, and new travel policies aiming to simplify visa-free entry for millions of travelers worldwide. The 40 countries whose citizens can travel to the US without a visa under the 2025 VWP are Andorra, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Chile, the Czech Republic, Croatia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, and the rest of them. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell, not Kaja Kallas, has expressed support for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, emphasizing the legitimacy of his office. Kallas is actually the Prime Minister of Estonia. Zelensky, who was elected in free and fair elections, faced criticism from former U.S. President Donald Trump, from U.S. President Donald Trump, who accused him of being a dictator for not holding elections. However, EU officials have clarified that Ukrainian law prohibits presidential elections during martial law, which has been in effect since the Russian invasion. They also noted that many national constitutions provide exceptions for elections during wartime. In response to Trump's remarks, Kaja Kallas, in her capacity as Estonia's Prime Minister, highlighted Russia's own questionable election history, pointing out that it has not held genuine elections in 25 years. Here now is ATN Sports News. Galatasaray have accused Fenerbahce manager Jose Mourinho of making racist statements following a 0-0 draw between the bitter Istanbul rivals. It was not immediately clear what comments Galatasaray were referring to, and former Real Madrid, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Spurs coach Mourinho has not responded publicly to the allegation. Speaking following Monday's league draw at Galatasaray, the Portuguese coach reportedly said the home bench had been jumping like monkeys. He also repeated his criticism of Turkish referees. The game was refereed by Slovenia's Slavko Vincic, said to have been appointed after a request from both clubs that a foreign official take charge of the high-profile encounter. In his statement, Galatasaray said it would launch criminal proceedings against the 62-year-old Mourinho. There was no immediate comment from Fenerbahce, who are second in the Super League, 6 points behind Galatasaray. Fenerbahce has rejected Galatasaray's accusation that Jose Mourinho made racist statements following Monday's league debut. Turkish Super League leaders, Galatasaray said they will initiate criminal proceedings and report Fenerbahce coach Mourinho to FIFA and UEFA over what they call racist statements made by the Portuguese coach after the game. Following his team's goalless draw at Galatasaray, Mourinho was asked about an incident early in the game involving his 19-year-old Fenerbahce defender Yusuf Aksikek, to which he said he thanked the referee because with a Turkish referee would have given Aksikek a yellow after the big dive and the first minutes under Galatasaray's bench jumping like monkeys on top of the kids. Mourinho also infuriated Galatasaray when he said Monday's game would have been a disaster had the Turkish referee been in charge, while praising Slovenia's Slavko Vincic, who officiated the match. Vincic was chosen by the Turkish Football Federation following a request made by both clubs to have a foreign referee for the game. And now, entertainment news. Magistrates court sitting in Sabo, Yaba area of Lagos on Tuesday freed Abdulaziz Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, in relation to the case of the demise of Aloba Oladimeji Ilerioluwa, also known as Mohbad. Magistrate Ejiro Kubenje, who read and implemented the legal advice of the Directorate of Public Prosecution Lagos, said that he had no case to answer. The court also freed music promoter Samson Balogun Elotu, also known as Sam Larry, Owoduni Ibrahim, also known as Prime Boy, and Mohbad's former manager Obere Batunde. The DPP, however, said it shall be prosecuting the auxiliary nurse who treated Mohbad, Feishayo Ogendegbe, and one of Mohbad's friend Ayobami Sadiq for the offense of reckless and negligent acts contrary to Section 251, Paragraph E of the Criminal Law, Chapter C, 17, Volume 3, Laws of Lagos State 2015. The duo will be prosecuted at the Magistrates Court. The advice noted that though documented accounts of unlawful assault on Mohbad were actually carried out by Naira Marley and Sam Larry, these accusations do not make the duo criminally responsible for the death of Mohbad. Nigerian rapper Tochukwu Ojogo, popularly known as Odumodu Black, has been hospitalized after